Shalom. Welcome to our ecological farm. What you will see before you is hydroponically grown lettuce. This system is actually not just hydroponics. It has an addition of aquaculture, so they call it aquaponics. All the water from the fish, which you'll see in a few minutes, is recycled constantly through the plant system. We have 100 kilos of fish for 1,000 plants. The waste products of the fish is enough on 100 kilos to support 1,000 plants. So they, after a process of nitrification, we send the water to the plants and they take off the nitrogen, NO2. The bacteria in two stages takes the fish waste, which are ammonia, and turns it into NO2, which is nitrate, which is poisonous to the fish, and then turns it into NO3. NO3, the nitrogen is sent to the plants and they clear it off. On gravitation, the water flows back to the fish containers and is sent over and over again, recycled. We have added a component of alternative energy to this, which you'll see, a solar panel, which uses two bilge pumps that send the water constantly to the plants, and on gravitation it all flows back. Right now what you see here is hasa. In Hebrew it's called...
in English it's called?
In Hebrew it's hasa. And what the significance of this is the fact that we can grow this...
But in English it's lettuce. Just say it's lettuce.
Lettuce in English. One of the big things that Israel does for the Haredi community is they try and grow lettuce without insects. So our goal is to try and grow it without insects, but also without dangerous pesticides. Seeing that I have it in a water medium, many insects that normally would attack lettuce and live in the surrounding soil will have more difficult of a time doing it here.
That's
so
amazing.
Our goal is to have ecological, insect-free or low-insect lettuce, because we have a klal in the Torah. It says that danger is even more serious than asur, forbidden things. Like it's forbidden for a Jew to eat bugs, but it's even worse to poison yourself by cancer-causing sprays.
Is this organic, everything you're growing here?
So what we're trying to do is the best of both worlds, where it will be something that's grown semi-natural, ecologically. I can't say organically, it's ecologically. In other words, we're saving water. We're saving water. This water, for instance, can be collected from the top of someone's house. Someone could do the same type of system and become independent in the middle of the desert by collecting flood water, or from his house by collecting the rainwater from his roof.
How does the water enter this hothouse? Why don't you show it to us?
The water was taken from the regular water system, but you could also have a system of rainfall gathering and recycling. We're using altogether 5 cubic meters here.
Just 5 cubic meters of water?
That's 5 cubic meters, and if it's done on a larger scale, you could attain complete and total self-sufficiency.
Unbelievable. What are you growing on the right over? I see that you have some strawberries.
This is strawberries. It doesn't look so good, but we've cut it now for the last 2 months. Is irit, it's chives. We've cut it back, cut it back, cut it back. We're going to replace it soon. But my wife has made many a salad from this.
Are they all bug-free?
They're not bug-free, you have to check it. But if we put the right traps with hormones and things like that on that attract the bug to the trap, then we could probably get it insect-free. The rest of this netting is also 50% mesh, which is not easily penetrated by most insects.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that you have to keep in mind is this is a system of uh, hyd-
Hydroponics?
hydroponics, so you need oxygen in the water.
Where is that coming from, the oxygen?
Now I have a small little oxygen pump. This is
What do you need oxygen for?
the roots of the hassa of the lettuce need oxygen.
But they can't get the oxygen from the air?
No, this is a different system where we don't have to have oxygen because only a small layer of the roots are actually in a film of water that flows in this trough.
Oh, so you mean they get oxygen from the air?
So they get oxygen from the air. So this is a different system. These are two different systems.
What is it? What are the benefits and the disadvantages of each system?
The benefits of this system is that you have a much larger root area to grow, and this one, the benefit from this is I don't have to invest any energy to produce oxygen.
Over here you have to put oxygen in this.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that cost you to put oxygen in that?
Those are small pumps. They're very small. I think it's 8 watt.
Oh, it's 8 watts. So it's battery operated or electrical operated?
That's electric, but it can also be converted to battery operation.
But it's really virtually
Virtually
any
nothing.
electricity used for that.
Right. Here behind us, you can see we have tables and we have groups that come in. We invite groups. We explain to them how we work. And my wife produces from our farm all sorts of wonderful cheeses, camembert, parmesan, dried fruit leathers, granolas, you name it. She knows how to make it.
It's all from the system here, from your hydroponics?
From the cows that we have and from the system. You name it, she knows how to make it.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you began your whole farming career on Itamar?
We started this farming about almost 30 years ago. Initially we were doing tomatoes for export. As the economic and political situation changed, we gradually adapted ourselves to each change. Because of security reasons, in the first and second Intifada, we had it very difficult to get out of the issue. So my wife decided that with all the excess fruits and tomatoes and things, she'll start making vegetable sauces and jellies, and eventually we got to fruit leathers. And it's all on the merit of my wife's ingenuity that we got to where we got to. As time went by, we realized that in order to survive as farmers, a family farm, we have to lower our expenditures to the minimum and get the highest price for what we produce. Meaning that we have to go and sell directly to people. We have to get people to come to us, or we have to go to people with the finished product. We can't, there are two ways of dealing with prices going down, or you get bigger and bigger and have a higher amount level. You have a smaller profit margin on much greater dunam, or you lower your costs and get a higher return on the same amount of land, and that's what we're trying to do here. Here, for instance, we're working with a very small amount of water, and we're getting a very high return because you're getting fish and you're also getting plants from 5 cubic meters of water. This is actually a pilot project. If we were to do this, say, 1 ton of fish, we could do 10,000 plants. This system, by the way, isn't something we made up. The Aztecs did it 500 years ago as a means of increasing their... They were running out of fertile land to grow corn, so they took in their lakes, they made floating rafts, they put on soil, and they planted the corn on these floating rafts. In addition, they brought ducks and fish and had them in the same area to produce the nitrogen for the plants. So it was a very efficient system that they had thought back in those days. Today, with low tech, we can utilize that same idea and come up with extremely highly economical system, like ultimately I have to prove it in numbers, and I think we will, that from 1 cubic meter of water you'll be able to get a much, much greater return than in any other system of farming.
Amazing. And what are the disadvantages of this kind of farming? Are there any disadvantages in it?
The disadvantages is that you have to make containers that are expensive. My neighbor says, why don't you just take the lettuce and plant it in the ground? He's right. Mm-hmm. But
you got to get these containers right here.
But when you have limited manpower and you have limited amounts of water, then this is a good system. I don't have to bend down all day and weed. There's no weeding involved. We don't have to bend down all day to pick it. There's very little difficulty in picking or planting or taking care of a system like this. We have no problem with water. You're using the same amount of water over and over again.
That's amazing. When are you going to be able to start selling it? When is it going to be ready?
This is actually the 3rd time we've done it, and basically we're using it for our own consumption. But if this is successful, I have a pond down below that could grow about 3 dunams, the equivalent of 3 dunams of hasa, of lettuce on one dunam of water.
How much is a dunam translated in American?
Each dunam has about 8,000 plants, so we could grow about 24,000 plants on 2.4 tons of fish.
Oh, wow!
And
amazing.
that would be a small, and you would be using maybe altogether maybe about 1,500 cubic meters of water to do this whole system. Amazing. In addition to that system, we also are going to interphase it into alternative energy, to run the pumps on alternative energy, to actually produce electricity from this system.
So why don't you go show it to us now?
Some of